Hello, I'm going to show you a couple of string operations in Python that you can use to modify and clean up strings, particularly when you have imported the information from a text file. So to do this, I'm going to start by copy and pasting an arbitrary string so we have something to work on. And we can look at it. It's a string, as we can see by the single quotes on either side. Within the quotes are some letters, one uppercase, some lowercase letters, and there are several spaces, blank spaces, and there's \n, which you might remember stands for line feed or new line, for example, in the print function. Now, the first thing that we want to do is to see how the method split operates. So we have our string, and to apply a method, we use the dot operator, dot split, and if we apply the split method without any further argument, so with just empty round parentheses, you can see what happened. The original string was split into various items, embedded in a list, square brackets, and notably empty spaces and \ns are missing. So that's something to remember. There are different ways to do it. We can also put in an argument. So if we have the split method applied to that string called string, and we say split by the letter R, then we can see comparing the original string, letter R is now missing, and the split occurred at that position where the letter R occurred. And because there was two R's, we have now 3 items in our list. That can also be expanded, and instead of R, you can find one of the motifs in that original string, say split by ARA or something like that. And then you will end up with 2 items because there's only one instance of ARA, and we split at that position. And of course, ARA is missing now. A special case is if we apply the split method with the argument \n, so that line feed thing. You can see there's 2 instances of line feed, so assuming it came from a text file where there were 2 line breaks. And if we do so, we have everything else that was contained in that text apart from the line feeds or the \ns. So that's a good thing to know, because we never really want to be bothered by the \n, or by line breaks when working on strings. This is actually such an important thing that there's a dedicated method to it, and it's, if you do the autocomplete, it's called splitlines. So if we do splitlines, then in this case the result looks identical, and it removes the \n in the string that you provided for splitting. So what we can do is we can use that same thing. We can use that splitting because that's something useful to have, and we can assign it a new name. So that's our split string. So let's call it string split, and let's assign it to what we have, and then string split would be just what we had before, but now we have it as a variable. And now we come to that obvious question. Once you have these components that you are interested in as items in a list, how can you bring them back together into a single string? So to do so, we need the join method. And join method uses 2 quotes, one next to each other, single quotes next to each other, dot join, and then you apply it to the string that you are interested in joining. In this case, it will be the string split. So if we do so, we get as a result all the letters and all the spaces, but now as a single string and no \n anymore. So that's good, but of course we call that something named, so that's maybe the string joint. And if we do so, if we call that string joint, you can see this is how it operates. Now we can work on that string joint again, because we can see this is not yet ready, right? What do we do with all those empty spaces? So one thing that we can do is we can split this again. Remember what splitting without any argument did? It removed all the spaces, backslash and also, but particularly also the spaces. So if we apply that to string joint, then we can get a new string by applying the method split without anything else. And now we want to see the new string. And indeed, split has removed all the empty spaces. So now we have a list containing only the things that we actually want to know, namely no backslash and no empty spaces. And how do we bring them back together? Yes, of course, we know. We use join, right? So we use single quote, dot join, and we apply that to new string. And if we do that to the new string, so means we can see everything together. The individual components, the cleaned up components that we had before as separate items in a list, are now brought back together. And we have a single, clean, and clear word, which is the disease hypoparathyroidism.